Hey there, hot and humid. Well, this is it. The end of the 2015 spring season. I've only got a few of these really sad pepper plants looking here. I'm gonna yank these guys out, and this is pretty much it right now. Everything else is done, getting ready to be sanitized for the upcoming season. Got a few stragglers. That's my my Phoenix. Actually, that's a Heatmaster tomato, but it has definitely seen some better days, and it's definitely in soil. So, you know, I had an extra plant. I threw it in the $3 bucket and said go for it. Matter of fact, it did pretty well, actually. Again, that's the moringa tree you guys have seen a couple of times. So, this is my system. I've had the conversation a couple of times. I put the video up earlier. I like it, but I'm not sold on it. Let me kind of explain why. I love the Dutch buckets. I think the Dutch buckets is probably one of the most effective way to grow things I've ever seen. However, what I'm finding out is that while they do some things really well, there is some major flaws in the system. Number one, you have no access to your roots once they start getting seeded. When you're talking about a 4-gallon pail that's slap full of perlite, and those roots are finally rooted in there, and they're actually rooting past the bag and the barrier, which was a whole nother issue I dealt with, and I'll explain that in an upcoming issue. You can't get to them, so you don't really know what's going on, and that's what's really the big positive of the NFT type systems, and even the DWC buckets, is being able to see your roots, pull the plant out, saying, okay, I got a problem, immediately addressing it, versus kind of having to guess or sacrifice a plant, pull it out, or see the roots or dig past the roots, knowing you're probably going to do some damage, and finding out that they're brown, and now you got to deal with them, and you're not sure if it's all of them or just that one. Again, it creates a lot of questions. So it probably isn't a big deal when you're dealing with a controlled environment, but again, as the main theme of the Facebook page is hot and humid hydroponics, I live in Florida, Tampa, Florida. I mean, there's only a certain period of the year where we actually get to open up our windows. The rest of it, the AC is running 24/7. Okay, to get that, you know, you're pulling gallons of water out of the earth. 80% humidity at any given day. So, couple of things also. I've really pushed the use of setting up these emitters. They are not without their flaws. They do drip a little bit. They are not perfect. I don't really see another solution that has as much control as this, but I like it. The other thing, tomatoes. They're wonderful. But one of the things that I got into is I was enamored by growing a ton of tomatoes. And I said, man, I want to grow a ton of tomatoes. And I want to grow a ton of peppers. Well, some people have problems, some people don't. I got issues when I'll put all those tomatoes down there, and I only had like 3 or 4 peppers. And when those peppers came in, these things took a long time to grow, and they've been struggling every day, every inch of it. And it has a lot to do from whatever a lot of people will say, is that the tomatoes will actually kind of taint and poison the water, and it stunts the growth on a lot of different things. However, it did not affect my cucumbers, but it surely did a number on the peppers, I'm almost positive. Here is the big, disgusting, I don't tell anybody this, I don't show anybody this, but I did a big experiment. Here is something that should have never, ever worked. Clear container. You see it green because it's slap full of algae. I have misused this, I have abused this. This is the worst setup you possibly could ever think of for a hydroponic setup. It has simply got one air stone, and I have probably neglected to put newts in this thing for almost a month. It sits out here clear. It's been 100 degrees. Check this out. Now the roots are green. That's because of the algae. But there is no root rot on that. Nope, that's just tainted. I can actually spray a hose on that right now, and all that algae would just kind of go away, and it probably would work a lot better if it didn't. Guys, the air stone made the hugest difference. I got a huge 4-inch air stone sitting underneath that that unit right there, just those 2 plants. I dealt with oxygen issues all summer long and all spring. I'm coming to the conclusion that I'm thinking about redoing my Dutch bucket system into a recirculating DWC and actually putting air stones in each one of these buckets. And as you can see here, there's the bucket, there's the top. I'm thinking about bringing it right here, giving it that perfect height, and that the roots will just touch right on it, and I can sit there and bubble water on it the whole time. I'm not quite sure yet if I'm sold on that idea. It will require me to rip out all my buckets and remeasure everything. I'm not sure if that's something I'm ready to do or if I'm willing to do. Here's the other thought. Get rid of the Dutch buckets altogether. That's right. Pull all of the Dutch buckets out, use this entire wood frame, the pump, the reservoir and everything, and make a massive NFT system. Now, the NFT has its own problems, we know that. But I'm also realizing my family doesn't eat as many as tomatoes as I thought I would. I ended up giving away the majority of my tomatoes. The whole purpose of me growing this food was for one reason and one reason only. Number one, so that my family could eat healthy and have better nutrients in their body. Number two, so that we'd be able to be self-sustained. My family probably eats more beans and more cucumbers and those types of things than even tomatoes. So I'm not saying I'm not going to have a couple of tomatoes. I'll probably create a couple of DWC buckets for the tomatoes alone, but I'm not quite sure if I'm going to do bush beans for the spring or whatever. I do have some special hybrid tomatoes coming in from the University of Florida, and I've been really wanting to try those, but again, I keep on going back to my mantra, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? This is, ladies and gentlemen, this is not a hobby for me. I'm intentionally, I mean, I love it. It's something I have a passion for, but the passion is for the end result more than it is, you know, doing the hobby and spending tons of money and paying $7 a pound for tomatoes. That's not my point here. I actually intend on trying to get a return. So, and a lot of us are like that. A lot of us are wondering, hey, how are we going to go about this? How can we make this effective? Do I have to go this big? Is this too much, or is this over my head? Do I have the ability to produce enough food for my family? And the more I think about it, the more I'm leaning towards beans, you know, and things that I can, and or maybe possibly even focusing on tomatoes one part of the season, make nothing but tomatoes, grow them large, huge, and focus nothing but on tomatoes for the first part of the year, can them, and then focus on beans and everything in the latter part of the year. I don't know. I would really like some opinions. I do have some expandability from here. I can go ahead and got a little fence line. I could go ahead and create an extra NFT here. So I've really honestly thought about just doing a second NFT because I want one. But, you know, I'm open for feedback. I really would hope to hear from some of the viewers. And as always, again, you guys can do this. You can do it. There's no reason not to do it. These videos are awesome to watch, but I'm telling you, there is nothing like getting in there and doing it yourself. You guys are awesome. Thank you for watching this video. Sorry for all the shakiness. Looking to get an upgraded camera in the future. And if there's anything I can do for you, please don't hesitate to ask questions. I've made a lot of mistakes this year, and I got a lot of information about what not to do. Probably more than what I can give you to what to do. So again, thanks again for watching. Have a great night.